Neil and Scott, thank you so much for joining me today. How are
Thanks
you
for your
guys?
interest in this. Oh my gosh.
Nice to
Of
meet you.
course, of course. I have a very
Oh, look
particular
at his shirt.
interest
Sorry,
in.
sorry to jump in. Look at his shirt. Well
Yeah,
done.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well played.
Well played.
I tried my best.
When else is he going to wear this shirt? Right.
There's only a few occasions. I'll probably wear it again in February when I see you here in Toronto.
Oh, you
All
come
right.
in. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm coming to that. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I'm here in Canada. The misinformation that you guys speak about and document in this documentary was evident across the globe. It wasn't just a an American issue; it was a Canadian issue.
I don't know if I'm sad or happy to hear that fact, but right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Traveled.
Was it just America?
Yeah.
No, it was the whole world. Oh, is that
yeah.
or
Unfortunately,
worse?
not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I have family in Italy, and I had some friends in London, and they were hearing the exact same conspiracies and hesitancy that happened in the U.S. So, how long do you think it will take for us to recover from this hesitancy that all of this misinformation has caused?
Forever.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It depends on, well, this is a perfect one to throw back to you, Neil. The time frame of how long it will take us to overcome what I hope is a temporary bump in some people's distrust of the scientific method.
So either everyone sees this film and is converted immediately, or we have to change the educational system so that they know what science is and how and why it works.
Yeah.
So that they're not in this situation to begin with.
Yeah.
But then that's like a 20-year delay from elementary school children into adulthood. So maybe between now and when the next generation is old enough to vote, we might see this change. But that could be too late if some other virus comes in.
So you said it perfectly. Currently, we need everybody to see this movie.
Oh, yeah, I said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well said.
One of the things that I loved about the way the documentary was displayed is it wasn't really science heavy. It was more based on human interaction, human relationships, and how we function as a society and how we should function, and how basically anyone who is believing in misinformation and choosing to do otherwise is going against this. And
so for the bits of science that were in there and the charts and graphs, that's my primary contribution to this, to ensure that we're not just making science statements. Is there a way you can visualize that effect through a graph, a chart? And so the thread of science that goes through it is the backdrop to the interpersonal stories that you're commenting on.
When trying to figure out what information to put into the documentary, how did you choose how much science or not to put in?
Oh boy, yeah, that's tricky.
That's a good question, right? Because it could have been just all about science, but then it's an actual documentary, right? Whereas this, I think it lands differently from a traditional documentary because of how much interpersonal stories are being told, from the nurses firsthand to the school teachers, their students, the graduation. So back to you.
And before I get too many emails from my fellow documentarians saying that why did Neil insult the other documentarians? Some documentarians, there's some wonderful documentarians that are excellent storytellers, and they are my idols and all the above. But it is true that a post-it that I had on my computer for my first documentary, OTR Town, that I had a post-it during the editing process, and all it said on it was "keep their heads off the desk." So that was me reminding myself that my experience with documentaries in school was that, sadly, a lot of the times they were a bit too dry, and they were just laying out the facts instead of using the tools of great storytelling. So that I'm a storyteller. I'm a filmmaker. I'm honored to be able to be a filmmaker and storyteller and journalist, of course, too.
Academy Award nominated.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
God, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, keep going on that.
And of course, I'm trying to use every tool, every piece of vocabulary that all the filmmakers before me use as much as they're available to me. Right. So it's all about people. It's about conflict. It's about character. It's about contrast. And that is where that is where what interests me every day is, where are we in this human condition and how are we going to get through it? And clearly we are living through a frustrating time. And at the same time, what gets me choked up when I look back and I talk about the film isn't the frustration with the people that manipulated the truth and harmed us. That does sadden me. Of course, it saddened me to see the horrors that COVID wreaked. But what actually chokes me up is when we rise to our potential, right? When we rise to our potential of following the best information, when we rise to the potential of the social contract and look beyond the end of our nose and say, we're all in this together. When we make incredible decisions like the family in Samoa who had a tragedy and lost their children to a mistake around a vaccine, nothing to do with the quality of the vaccine, just a human error. And then which led to a measles outbreak in Samoa. They went on the news to say, please go and get vaccinated. They didn't take that tragedy and become cynical. And it's a hopeful film. And we've been very honored to see people see it as a healing experience for them going forward, that the truth is worth it and decency is worth it. And having love for your common man and not being selfish is worth it.
You've mentioned the social contract a lot in the documentary and a lot of your other interviews. My first interaction with my social contract, without really thinking about it, was when I was I think I was like 14 or 15. I got a letter that I was missing a vaccine and I would be kicked out of school if I did not get that vaccine. So it was a very quick fix. It's like, hey, you got to go get this vaccine. Oh, I didn't know I didn't get it for you. My parents said, so we'll go get it. A very quick fix. But I was scared as a young teenager, like, I'm going to be kicked out of school. Why? And, I'm 34. So you're, going back 20 years now. And I can't believe the amount of people that were shocked during COVID when, I can't go to work, or I'm going to be kicked left from my job, or not. So what is it about us forgetting that we are a part of a society, that there are laws that govern us?
Just to be clear, the government did not require that you get vaccinated. What it said was, if you do not get vaccinated, we will prevent you from getting access to these parts of society where other members of the public participate. You can become a survivalist, go into the woods, never get vaccinated against anything. And in this country, with the freedoms we have, no one is going to stop you. So what happens is that extreme freedom got confabulated with your freedom among other people in society, where your decisions put other people at risk. And that's the social contract that was getting violated.
And I thank you for telling that personal story of getting that letter, because there's people that have manipulated that into to some anti-vaxxers who manipulate a story like that. My daughter, look at this world that my daughter can't go back to school, and she's heartbroken. And it's brilliant, evil manipulation of storytelling, actually, like more on the propaganda side. And it's a shame, because some of these people are so clever at using disinformation and also the truth to manipulate people to go to their side. And it's heartbreaking. And we have to have the humility to just pause and go, wait, what's going on? Who am I listening to? Can I check myself, please, and see if I'm following good information or I'm being manipulated by a clever charlatan?
What do you think the connection between anyone who is a vaccine denier and the average conspiracy? Because I find that my interaction with all vaccine deniers, or they believe in almost every conspiracy imaginable. Do you think there's a connection there in some way?
Yeah, I do. It's your susceptibility to believing what you want to be true rather than what is true. And when you believe what you want to be true and the evidence does not support it, there's a gap in supporting what it is you think. Then you say, the reason why there's a gap is because there are people hiding that information from you, or they're manipulating that information so that you will never know it. And that susceptibility applies to so many things.
Mm.
The people who don't think we went to the moon, people who think Earth is flat, the people who don't believe in climate change, the people and so maybe we need training in school that will, dare I use the word, inoculate us against that kind of thinking. And because if you get it early enough, you would never have adults running around speaking that way.
And we still need it for adults, right? That's why I said we talked earlier today that could we have a declaration that we all wake up to every morning that we're going to
No, I'm saying if you get it early enough, they become adults.
Of course.
And then everyone else just dies, grows old and dies.
Yeah.
Right. Then you have
I just want it today.
Oh, you want it today?
I want it today as well.
Okay.
So again.
Oh, thank you so much, Neil and Scott. Shot in the Arm premieres in LA and New York this weekend, and we desperately need everyone to come watch this movie.
At shotinthearmmovie.com, you can follow where the new screenings will be.
Good shout out.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today. It's been wonderful chatting with you.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you.
Hope to meet you in person. Take care.